Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? If you can, wave your hand a little. Good morning. So most of you are online today. So I'm trying to get connected with the online group. Hope everyone can hear me okay. Feel free to use chat and give me your feedback.
People are saying they can hear you.
Oh, good. All right, perfect. Well, I'm going to get started. And today is the session 3, Connect with Your Market. Before we start, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Raymond Ong. I've been broker for over 30 years. And I joined Keller Williams' office about 2 years ago. I'm one of the ALC member. If you don't know what that is the Associate Leadership Council. So that's why I got invited to speak to the group today and teach this class. Besides my brokerage experience, I'm also an investor, and my passion is to help people make money with real estate. So that means if you're an investor or if you are real estate agents, I'll be more than happy to share my experience with you and teach you what I know. All right. So we don't have a lot of you in the classroom, but I just wanted to let you know that we're all adults here, so feel free to chime in if you have any questions, and if you need to go off, do your thing, that's fine. I'm perfectly fine here. Actually, something I learned while I was in New Zealand about a few months ago is that when the pastor start the sermon, the first thing he does is to point out that's the restroom over there, and there's one exit in the back and 2 exits on the side, and I was pretty surprised, and I thought that was kind of funny, but he says that that's a government regulation that you have to make these kind of public safety announcement every time you start a meeting. So that's how he started a meeting. So I'm going to do the same. If you want to walk out, feel free to do that. Okay, so I wanted to ask someone to do a role play with me. Alex? Yeah, hey. Do you mind if we do a role play together?
Sure.
Okay, so I have Alex on the online. I don't know if you can see Alex, but the screen maybe is not showing. But Alex, tell me, let's say we're in just a casual meeting, maybe in a restaurant or something, and we meet the first time. And I say to you, so Alice, what do you do?
So, I just started over at Keller Williams as a real estate professional. I've been doing, prospecting for real estate agents for the last 5 or 6 years, and just embarking on a new journey and try to help people fulfill their dreams of home ownership.
Wow, that is exciting. So how's the market?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. There's a lot of perception out there, but our team, we really dive into the numbers, and right now it's a pretty normal market. in comparison to what we saw like the last 4 years, which was a super, super hot market. But historically speaking, we're still in a very, very good market.
Okay, it's very good market. Excellent. Okay, so for those of you online, I don't know if you capture all of that. And that's pretty more normal conversation, wouldn't you say? If you walk into a restroom or you walk into a setting, first thing that people say is, what do you do? And the second thing says, how's the market? And typically what I will answer is that, the market is great. What specifically are you interested in? Okay, so that give me to a whole different realm of conversation about what his interest is. And, I may be just a normal guy, just interested in how the market is. But if I am interested in buying a house, if I'm interested in selling a house, you have a starting point where you will go into and start asking some questions. Okay. Now, let's take the flip side of that conversation. Let's say that I am the real estate agent. What kind of question you want to ask me?
So I'm looking to buy a home. What are the interest rates like right now?
Right. So, okay, that's great. How is the interest rate? Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? Okay, I'm just going to quickly read through some of the typical questions that you or anyone in the real estate business going to confront. If you are working with buyer, if you have a buyer who is interested in talking to you, they're going to ask, how's the market? Is this good time to buy? What will happen with the economy and the interest rate? What will happen with the home prices? How do I buy a home with a low down payment? Is that really possible? Or I heard that there are a lot of all cash buyers. And is there a creative way that I can buy a home, such as lease to buy or seller financing? Those are the type of questions that you're going to face. Now, if you're talking to a seller, the seller will ask this a similar question: is this a good time to sell? How is the real estate market? How can I sell my home for the highest price? Right? People always ask that question. How can I sell my home for the highest price? How can I give, do I need to remodel or update my home before I put the house on the market? How do I find a contractor? What can I do to save taxes when I sell my home? Right? And for the investor, for some of you who are working with an investor and try to find an investment property here, well, is this a good time to invest? Why buy a home in Silicon Valley? I mean, Texas prices by a third of where we are here. And I heard Austin is really hot. Why do I invest in Austin? Why should I put money in Silicon Valley? How do I protect my investment? Legally, do I have a lot of exposure and risk when we're working with tenants? And lastly, the most important one, how can I get a good deal? Right? People will ask that question. And that's pretty much the gist of what we're going to talk about, because I want to make today's presentation as real and as meaningful to you as possible. Okay, we're not talking about connecting the market so that you can do research, you can give out a lot of statistics. We're talking about working with people, answering their concerns, handling objections, and you need some fact-based information. So So today is the third day, okay? So the first day is Keller Williams culture, and the second day is to embrace your job, and today is connecting your market. And I'm gonna pretty much teach from this presentation. And again, feel free to interrupt me and ask any question. I mean, like I said, we're all adults here. So let me move this thing out of the way. Hold on a second. So this is the excerpt from the MREA. Here's the truth. It has been done in another market. It can be done in your market. Once it has been done, no matter where, it's just a matter of finding how it can be done in your world. So that is the truth in real estate. And the fact that if you go to the mega camp or family reunion, you will meet agents from all over the country. And you will hear some really astonishing results. People selling 200 homes, 300 homes. Okay, they make $1 million. They have a large team, 23, 24 agents. All these are something that very far from the reality what we have in here in Cupertino or Santa Clara Valley. Okay, but Keller's point is this: if it can be done somewhere else, it can be done here. All you have to do is to change your mindset. Okay. So, in order to be connected with your market, okay, we first understand that there are three types of market. There is a buyer's market, there is a balanced market, and there is a seller's market. What do we mean by that? When you have a buyer's market, the supplies of home is greater than demand, and there is a large amount of inventories in the marketplace. And typically, what we do is that we go to the MLS. There's a stats section on the MLS, and in the stats section, you can easily pull out a graph that it's called available inventory versus pending sales. Okay, and that information is really revealing because it will show not only this month's inventory, but last 12 month inventory. Actually, you can go search for 3 years of inventory list. And the inventory, it's amount of home that is available on the market. And usually the ratio is twice of amount of home that is for sale than what is pending. Okay. And this is what we're seeing right now. Okay, if there are maybe 60 homes for sale in Santa Clara, that means 20 or 30 homes that are pending. Okay, and to be honest, that is what we call a seller's market because the amount of inventory is small, and it takes about 1 month to sell all the homes that's on the market. What do we mean by the buyer's market? Typically, if you have inventory that is 3 times or more than the pending, that is a buyer's market. Okay, so just imagine this, if we if you're looking at Cupertino, I'm just going to use the Cupertino market because I'm speaking in the Cupertino office. So if in the Cupertino office, this month we sold 25 homes, but there are 75, 80, 100 homes for sale. That is buyer's market, because every one home sale, there are 3 homes that is available. Okay, that is a buyer's market. When we go to balanced market, it's more like, 1-to-2 ratio. So 25 homes, 50 homes for sale. And when we get down to 25 homes or 30 homes for sale and 25 homes pending, we're in the seller's market because buyers have very little choice. And this is what we are experiencing in the last 10 years. In the last 10 years, we see nothing but competitions, price appreciation, and all because of the inventory situation. Okay. Any question about that? The buyer's market it will reflect on the price. What will happen is that if you have 90, 100 homes for sale, but there are only 25 selling, what will happen? You have to drop the price, right? Right, you negotiate the price. The seller has a couple of options. Let's talk about that. If it's in the buyer's market, okay, seller has a couple of options. Number one, they can say, I don't want to sell anymore. Yeah, the market is not great. I'm just going to delay my move, which is one of the options. But most likely, people want to sell because they have a reason to sell. They're divorced, they're moving, they want to downsize, whatever the reason is. So the second option is that they lower the price. Okay, and that's what typically the real estate agent says. Well, home on 123 Easy Street, it's selling for 950,000 euros. It's 1 million, and I suggest you adjust your price, be more competitive with the 123 Easy Street home. Okay, that's the second option. What are the other options? What are the other options for the seller? Take it off the market and rent it. Rent it, right? So that comes with another bag of complications. Is it risky to rent the property? I just spent $100,000 remodeling my home. Do I really want to rent it out, or just leave it empty for a couple of years? But all these decisions has financial consequences, and you have to be very, very careful when you're talking to a seller, because seller really not having a whole lot of options when they are thinking about selling, or actually when they are actively working with a realtor to sell their home. I hear chumming, so more people are coming in. I'm glad to have you come in and ask your questions. So we're talking about inventories and how to look up the inventories and understand what is considered a buyer's market, a balanced market, and a seller's market. Any ahas or questions, anybody? Feel free to open your speaker and ask any questions, okay? And you can use the chat box. I have the chat box open on my screen as well. Oh, yes. Let me see if I can change the, where do, okay, stop here. Okay, no. Okay. Go to. And I need a window screen to go to MLS. Okay. I hope this is real for you. Can you see the screen? Okay, okay. So this is MLS. Everybody knows this, right? You log in, this is where you go. You go to the top menu, you have pros, matrix, that's where you do your search. And go to the matrix. Okay, my matrix. On the top of the matrix, you see stats. Okay. So this is what you will see, you will find. Let me just pull up one example. Actually, I will use Santa Clara County and residential. And I'm pulling up the sales volume. So what this graph is telling you, from January to March, the total sales volume dropped from around $700,000, 700 million to roughly about okay, the sales volume decrease. And this is not the number of transactions, this just means that the total market valuation has shrunk. And let me see where I'm going to find the number of sales, the sell versus sold. Okay. You see, this is the graph that we're talking about, the inventory, right? In 2022, you actually have higher number of sales versus the available homes. And the market dropped in December or July. And in July, you have 22, I'm sorry, I'm trying to increase. In this screen, you can see that 2205 available for sale and only 565. And that is what we call a buyer's market, because the amount of pending sales is much less than what is available. And now we're coming into a more balanced market. And you also notice that the reason that the market is changing is not because the buyer are going away, it's actually less seller putting their home on the market. Can you see that? Okay. So this is a graph, and you can download it, you can print it, you can take it with you to the listening presentation, but it has a lot of information. You can and you can go back and do this, do the search, customize it, do whatever you want. You can search in any particular area. And I want to give this to you, not because that I'm going to be able to tell you what is happening with your specific local market. I mean, we have market that's really still very strong, but we have market that are really kind of close, coming down, depending on where you're going. Okay, like for example, I know Fremont is really hot. There are multiple offers happening all over the place. But if you go into like Los Altos or other high-end market like Saratoga's, it may be a buyer's market, or at least a balanced market, because not a whole lot of buyers in those markets, and the inventory is not that great either. So to answer the question that the seller asked you is, how is the market? Is this a good market or bad market? You have to do your own research. Does that make sense? Hmm? Okay.
No.
Yep.
Share your screen.
Cool. We're back. All right. So the other above, other than talking about how is the local market, there are certain factors that also affects our overall economic environment. And one of the first thing is the interest rate. Okay, people are going to ask you, what is going to happen with interest rate? Now, you would share with me, what do you think about the interest rate is going to do?
You don't know.
Well, no. That's really the $1 million answer, right?
They said that we're going to be raised a couple of times next.
Yeah. The real question is how fast they increase it, because last year or so, each time they increase it, they increase a 0.5 percentage point, even 0.75 percentage point. Jerome Powell was in Congress, and I think Elizabeth Warren was pressing him to stop raising the interest rate, and he says, I'm not going to stop raising interest rate because I think it's benefiting to the whole economy, not only people who owns home. That's basically what he says. I'm paraphrasing, but he's saying, we have a duty to control the inflation, and he's taking the big sledgehammer, and he's going to battle this thing called inflation. And regardless the cost, regardless how many people are hurting, regardless if it's going to damage the economy, regardless if it's going to put us in recession, his job in his mind, quote unquote, in his mind, is take care of the inflation. And the only tool that he has is to raise the interest rate. So if you ask me, in my humble opinion, we're going to see interest rate keep growing this year. Okay, at least to Q3 or Q4 of this year, maybe even more. And what does that mean? How are you going to talk to your buyer or the seller?
Before it gets worse.
Exactly. Buy now before it gets worse. Okay. And maybe it's time to start talking about alternative financing, like seller financing, like, bite down the interest rate with the seller credit, maybe get a shorter term loan instead of 10-year fix or 30-year fix. maybe get a 7-year fix or 5-year fix so that you can always, you know, move out of market and capture the lower interest rate. Okay, so these are the type of things that you need to talk to the buyer. What about the seller? Interest rates up. I don't want to sell. Alex?
I would say sell now.
Sell now. Yep. When there's still buyer capable to buy, sell it now. Capture the right price. Yeah. If the interest rate continues to be up or upper, it may be not in your best interest to hold off, right? Okay. Any ahas and questions? People are really quiet. You can unmute yourself, by the way. Okay.
Hey, Raymond, this is Conrad.
Yes, Conrad.
I think I heard it from NAR that 80% of the homes in the United States are now in an interest rate of under 10%. Wouldn't that have a lot to do with the impact of not having enough listings? Because people don't want to sell because they're in a comfortable interest rate?
I'm sorry, you're breaking up a little bit. Can you repeat your question?
Okay. So I believe it was NAR. I was reading, and I believe it was NAR that said that 80% of the homes in the United States are in an interest rate under 3%.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that have a lot to do with the impact of people not wanting to sell? That's why we have a low inventory?
Well, that could be, but let's role play. So Bernard, right? I'm sorry, your name again?
Conrad.
Conrad. Okay, Conrad. I'm so glad that you to hear that you have a low interest rate. So let me ask you, why are you thinking about selling?
Well, I haven't really thought a lot about it. It crossed my mind, but every time I see that I have a low interest rate, I think to myself, I don't think right now is a good time.
Sure. Because you're comfortable, you have a low housing cost, and it's really to your benefit to keep holding on to this home. By the way, how long have you lived here?
I've been here about 10 years now.
About 10 years. And if you were like to move, where would you like to go next?
Well, I was, born and raised in San Jose. And I tried leaving twice, and both times I came home crying back to San Jose. So it would probably stay in Santa Clara Valley at least. Okay.
So, and what about the house? Is the house too big for you, too small for you? That's why you're thinking about maybe selling?
Yeah, that's why I was thinking about downsizing. My kids are grown and they're off and doing their thing, and thank God that they're all doing well. I don't need this size of a house, but at the same time, the interest rate is so good. I mean, even if I buy a smaller house or a condo or townhouse, I'm stuck with the high interest rate.
Right. So let me just make sure I understand you. You have a house too big, and over the past 10 years, the market has really been doing great for you. So you probably have a lot of equities in this home, and now you're thinking about maybe downsizing and take some of the equity out for either your retirement or other business needs. Is that pretty much where I'm hearing?
Yeah, that's kind of it right there.
Okay, perfect. I cannot predict what the interest rate will do, but I'll be happy to sit down with you and just show you, what are some of the options, and maybe we can find a place that will financially beneficial to you so that you can make the move and take the equity out of your house. How does that sound?
Yeah, I'd be willing to sit down and listen to what you have to share.
Yeah, perfect. When would be a good time? Tuesday, Thursday or Friday afternoon?
Friday afternoon would be better.
Great. That's how I will handle it. You know, sellers sell not because the interest rate. Sellers sell is because they have a motivation to move. There's non-economic reasons that they need to move. And it's our job to explore that conversation a little bit more and find out what that reason is. If they want to downsize, they want a bigger house, they're going through a divorce, if they're going to have a job change, whatever it is, it's not about just finance. Okay, finance is important. Don't get me wrong, but our job is to go deeper and ask the right question. Okay, so I hope that helped you. All right. Anybody else? So what are other economic factors? Anybody? Okay. So first and foremost, the unemployment rate and the wage. Okay, I know you all are independent contractor and you're commission-based. John, can you close the door? Yeah. Sorry, we got lots of noise from the lobby, so I'm trying to close down a little bit. So if you have an engineer as a client and you're here and you're talking to him, he's been working with you for 6 months and he's thinking about buying a home, and you pull out a call and says, "Hey John, I'm just want to check in with you, see how you're doing." And the first thing come out his mouth is, "Hey, I just got a notice for layoff, or my office is laying off people. I'm going to put my home search on a hold." Okay. It's real. I mean, it's happening in Silicon Valley. The good news is that we're seeing that people get new jobs very, very quickly. Okay, they just need to find a little bit different engineering work, but the job is plentiful. Okay, so unemployment. The other factor is the wage. Okay, last 10 years or even more, I mean, last 20 years, we're seeing people getting these huge stock bonuses. Okay, but their wage hasn't changed a whole lot. Now, what happened to those stock bonuses? It's worth less, right? So does that help? Does that have an impact on people's mindset in terms of their willingness to buy a home? Definitely, definitely. So you need to be in tune with how these economic factors and how they will be impacting the seller's decision, buyer's decision in terms of buying their home. Okay, so I'm just following the presentation script. So the other factors and that is impacting our market is in the neighborhood. Okay. For our guests here, anyone give me a couple of ideas about the needs and the home that you're looking for based on your experience. Okay.
Family's growing, one kid is second.
Okay. Yeah. So the size of the home two bedroom versus, three bedroom versus two bedrooms, right? What about age? Right, age, that will be important, okay? And style, yeah, you have your, million ranch style home that was built in 1960, and then all of a sudden you see a 2000 or 2021 new style, modern style home. It looks different. It looks great. It's more what other parts of the country is used to, not these 50 or 60-year-old inventories, right? That can make a difference. Just, different builder have different qualities, okay? And most importantly, I will say, if you're working with a buyer, look for the quality of the buyers. I'm going to pause for a second and just grab my battery pack. So we're talking about, factors other than economic factors that will impact the buyer's decisions in finding a home. You need to know the uniqueness of each neighborhood. Like if, I'm sorry, schools are very important, right? So let's talk about that. What do you do when someone says, I want to go to school?
You say good school, what do that mean?
That's perfect. Yeah. I don't know much about school, but my daughter is going to middle school, and my younger son is going to kindergarten. So what would you recommend?
Well, what area are you looking to buy it first?
Well, I don't know, my budget is around 1.2 million.
You wouldn't be close to where you work?
Yeah, the commute is really bad.
Tell me the facts of what
Yeah.
Well, I've schools are rated between 7 and 10 from elementary all the way up to high school.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And then got a few other areas, and then we just need to make the most of it.
Awesome. Yeah. You see, this is how you do your buyer consultation, right? You ask them what is important. Is it the style? Is it the price? Is it the school? Is the size of the home? You find out, and first you get the must-have, right? School is probably a must-have, right? The price is probably the must-have, and then you start working with something that's negotiable, okay? And you pick out 2 or 3 variables or the areas that is possible for them. So that's perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah. Any Hans questions? So we've pretty much for the first hour, we're talking about mainly the learning about the market. That is or the factors that affects the buyer's decisions. And the second part is more getting to know your client. And this is where, you know, rubber meets the road. This is where you're going to distinguish yourself from other agents, because anybody can talk about the interest rate. Anybody can talk about, oh, this stats shows that this is a buyer's market, this is a seller's market, what the price trend is. I mean, pretty much, you're not going to be making what you're saying or your story is not going to be too much different from the other agent. However, what will make the difference is for you as an agent working with your client is build that connection. Okay. And this is the area that we're going to be talking about. Okay. To learn about the client's needs and build a connection. Okay. So I'm going to stay on this page a little bit because I found that when I'm talking to a seller or buyer, what usually what they want to find out is not what what you would say the economic factors. Okay. Let me just give you a couple of examples. Okay. When you talking to a seller, okay, what are some of the questions that typically they come up? Okay. How is that going to, what is the taxes? If I'm coming from Texas, okay. In Texas, the property tax is about 3%. And it adjusts every year. Right. Similarly, I think Arizona is the same way. Okay. So they want to know how is the property tax in California. And in California, we have a very unique system called Prop 13, right? That holds the property tax at the level where you purchase your home. So that's something that for the out-of-town buyer, they would like to know how the tax will impact them. Okay. The other thing is insurance. Okay. And I'm going to jump a little bit ahead of myself and tell you, because we work with commercial investors. Okay. So in the commercial world, insurance is really important. And insurance doesn't just cover the property. Okay. It covers the other liabilities like tenants. Tenants, if they burn down the house, if they will slip or drop on the property, okay, you need insurance to cover incidents like that. Okay, tenants insurance and general liability insurance is something that I always talk to them about. Okay. The other thing is that retirement. For those of you who are in their 30s, you don't feel that retirement is an issue. But I can tell you, if you're in your 40s and 50s, even your 60s, retirement becomes a really big issue. Okay, so talking to them like the friend that we have, or actually Gordon's friend, he He's been living here for a while. He want to downsize. He has a large pool of equities in the. How do you help him to free up that equity and make it possible for him to use the funds in his property to fund his retirement account? Okay, this is something that you can definitely have a conversation about. I'll tell you just my own experience. Okay, last year, I have a seller who saw the market is start going lower, and they have a rental property in Blossom Valley, and they're really worried about the home prices going to go down, and they were just kind of on the fence whether or not to sell the property. If they sell, they're going to get less money than that they think they would. On the other hand, they have a tenant problem because tenant is not in their property. The trash all over the place. It's a blight in the neighborhood. So what we say to them is that sell your property because the rent income is around $3,000 for your Blossom Valley property. The home, it was originally they thought they could get 1.7 million. They ended up selling it for 1.5. Okay. Well, what we did is that we transferred do a 1031 exchange, transferred the equity into a fourplex. And the fourplex income is $10,000. So what happened there is that they get rid of their management problem because now the property is managed by a professional management company. They raised their income 3 times from $3,000 to $10,000. And I'm telling and explaining this when I put the deals together. I explained to them that if you do this, you have $10,000 income for your retirement every month, and the property will continue to appreciate. Okay, you are protected. Your income stream is protected. Okay, because Silicon Valley is somewhere they want to be. They've been living here all their. They have lots of trust in Silicon Valley economy. They have lots of friends here. Their church is here. They don't want to go anywhere else, and they don't trust moving out of the area. But that strategy can work for you if you have a seller who's near retirement age, or at least in the 40 to 60 age bracket. Okay, so having that conversation with them and find out what their wants is really going to be beneficial. Okay. Now, many of the I'm speaking to the 30 to 40 age group. Okay, if I'm talking to them, typically they will say, "I'm interested in buying real estate." Why? Well, I want to make money. Well, yeah, everybody does. But what they're really saying is that they are looking for a wealth accumulation strategy. So they're not looking for current income, okay, but they really want to see that their property value is going to go up. Does that make sense? So when you talk to people like that, you will say to them, hey, if you invest a property in Sunnyvale, in Cupertino, in Los Altos, okay, these areas, even in a bad time, the property price doesn't go down, the value stays, but it will go up. You know, and you can pull up the stats and show them. It will go up 8%, 10% per year. Okay, it will basically double its price every 10 years, right? And this is very attractive. This is very attractive. So what you need to do is to, first of all, when you meet a client, assess their situation and find out their strategy. what is their strategy? What is it they're really looking for? Is it wealth accumulation? Is it for cash flow? Is it for reinvestment? Because they are selling a property somewhere else, bring it to the Silicon Valley. What is that? And have that connection and talk to them. And once you do that, the other thing is that you have a key to a whole group of people in the similar situation. Okay. If you talk to one person in Norvell, okay, there's probably 8 or 10 person that's in a similar situation thinking about the same thing. And you can say, okay, we will be happy to talk to you and your friends. And if you want, we can host a investor seminar and give you that information so that all your friends can learn what you're learning from me. How does that sound to you? Right? So, you know, instead of posting videos on the YouTube or Instagram, and you're talking to the entire world, right? And you don't know what the feedback is. But if you host a small group meetings, like, you know, in this office or in a particular restaurant, and just tell them, hey, I'm going to be talking about the investment strategies, and just bring all your friends, and we'll buy you a lunch or something. It's good investment. You talk to people and you really build that relationship, and you really build that trust. Okay. So I hope I give you some context and information that will help you to be close to your market. Okay. The headlines or what you read on Wall Street is often not relatable to Silicon Valley, because we're really in a bubble. We're really different from the rest of the world. Every time I talk to people, you know, from Texas, from Midwest, or from the Southeast, they feel, you know, we're just totally different world. Yeah, Silicon Valley is like New York, is like LA, is like Tokyo, and Hong Kong, and that's the world we are working in, and that's the type of information that people are seeking. You know, how you can communicate with them and find out their wants and needs. That's really what we're looking for. So the last segment is the connecting with the KW, and KW has a lot of resources. And first of all, we have the MREA class, and we asked everyone to learn the Ignite and the Volt, and it will behoove you to really study the materials with the classes that we offer. The second thing is that, you know, you need to use command. Command is the database or the CRM software that is the foundation of your business. There are a couple of foundations in that you need in this business. The first one is the knowledge that you have, and the second is the daily work that you have. So yesterday we talked about the 6 confidence. Anyone remember what they are? No. Okay, the 6 confidence. The first one is the lead generation, right? Lead generation and then listening presentation, right? And then either marketing the home or find a home for the buyer. And the fourth thing is what? Negotiate the contract, and supervise the close. And the last thing is the management money. Okay. And we offer classes on all these 6 core competencies. And Ignite is just part of that. But what you will find is that Keller Williams is a company that is offering above and beyond more information and training than other companies. And that is why you join Keller, is because the training and the infrastructure. But also, on the other hand, what I have learned is that all these materials and the database and the information that we offer is not going to make money for you. You are your own independent contractor. You are your own businessman. Okay. If you don't do the work, there's no income. Okay. Taking all the classes, do the database management, all that stuff is not going to make the differences. So that's the sober reality that I would have to do. So with today's class, there's actually a section. Let me see if I can find this. Okay. Yeah. So they ask you to have daily success system. What you do is that you have 10 conversations with your database. You add 10 more contacts to your database. Write 10 handwritten notes to your database, and make a video or social media post to your Facebook, Instagram, whatever, to market yourself. So that's the assignment for today, and that's what we will ask you to do each and every day in your career. Okay. So I think I speak long enough, and hope I didn't really bore you to death. I'm gonna open up and for some ahas or questions. Anybody? Any feedbacks? Looking. Yeah. Well, yep. And I really agree with that. That's really something that it's really incumbent upon each agent to prepare that information. Because if you are going to be a Cupertino specialist, you better know the Cupertino inside and out, and better than anybody else. Okay, because Maritan down the street, she has the information. Okay, what's her name? Yeah, there are many agents in the market, and they have lots of transaction histories, and they have information in-depth knowledge. The other thing I wanted to say is that, you know, I have agents come to me and says, I've been doing open house every weekend. Okay, and I'm not getting any results. What do I do? Okay, my advice is this. Okay, there are 2 types of prospecting. And I don't know if anyone explained this to you, but there are 2 types of prospecting. There's passive prospecting and there's active prospecting. So what do I mean by that? So let me give you an example of passive prospecting. Passive is you do an open house, you send out the email blast, or you're doing posting on Instagram, and you're hoping someone to respond to you and come talk to you. That's what we call passive marketing. Okay. Active marketing is actually going out there and talking to people, like what we're asking all of you to do today. And how do you do that? What I do is that when I was starting out and I was very hungry for business, so I will go tour, okay, and I will pull up a list, maybe 5 or 10 homes in one particular zip code, and I will go see these houses. These are actual listings that's on the market, and once I arrive there, I look at the home and I go left and right, 10 houses, and I go door knock. I said, hey, you know, your neighbor's home is on the market and it's 3-bedroom, 2 baths. It's asking for $1.5 million. And I'm here to tour the house. And I'm just wondering if you know someone else might be thinking about moving. Okay. And that's what I do. You know, 10 houses takes you 10 minutes to door knock. And you door knock, and one of them says, hey, I may be thinking about moving. Oh, great. When will be a good time? Maybe we can sit down and chat. Okay. And you do this, you know, it's easy to make 10 contacts a day if you do this. And you see the inventory, you find what other homes are thinking about, homeowners are thinking about buying. And I can tell you, my very first listing happens 3 months after I started business. Okay. And that was because I went tour a house in Willow Glen. And right next street, there is a very small sign, you know, one that you get from the hardware store, and it says for sale by owner. Okay, I just go, hey, you know, I'm touring the house next door, next street from you. I saw the sign. Do you mind if I come in and take a look? Sure, come in. And I find out that their home price is above the market. Okay, and they haven't done anything. They didn't even put an ad in the paper, which is what we do at those times. You know, you put an ad in the paper, and you hope someone to come. They didn't do open houses. They didn't advertise the house. They just put a little sign on the door. And I said to them, hey, if I can get you the price you want and get you moving, would you be interested in talking to me? Yeah, sure. So I sit down and we did the market analysis. We gave them the presentation about how we can effectively market their home. And 2 weeks later, we got an offer after we put it on the market, and that's how I got my first listing. Okay. So when you go on tour, just don't drive to the house and get out and leave. You know, look around the neighborhood. What is special about this neighborhood? Is it close to the shopping? Is it close to school? There are recreation facility around there, and you may bump into a for sale by owner by accident. You know, that will be my marketing strategy. Instead of sitting in an open house and waiting for someone to come and tell you that they want to buy a home with you, go out and take an active approach and find a seller or buyer. Hello. I hope that is a little bit information that you can take away from today's meeting. And I think this is the all the time I have, and if you have any questions, feel free to linger around. Other than that, I'm going to close out my video presentation, and I hope to see you soon in the office. All right.
Thank you so much, Raymond. It was very informative session. You have wealth of knowledge from experience. And thank you for sharing that with us.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Anybody else have a aha, or they want to ask questions?
Many ahas, actually.
I hope, John, this is Carol. I'm in the Cupertino office. I hope you don't take our silence as like lack of interest, but simply because we are trying to absorb all the wisdom you shared. So thank you for spending your time today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Anybody else?
Hi, Raymond. This is Lena. I was just trying to listen in, and one of my aha moment was doing open house. I mean, door knocking at the home that you're showing. So I think I would try that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Thank you.
The weather is good now, and it's a beautiful day. Go out and take a walk.
But I have a question. Is so is other people listening, and I do door knocking around their listening? Is that a concern that I should let them know, or
No, I wouldn't.
oh, it's okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
If they don't do door knocking around their own listings, it's a free game, right?
Okay. Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, they should, by the way, they should, but they don't. We know most of the listing agents don't do door knocks. They don't even call their own expires.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? All right. Well, wish you all have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.